What would you say, Esther?
I would have said everything you said. It was really good.
No.
I don't, so many things that I didn't understand about things that were happening to other people or even to myself, now they're not mysterious anymore. Now, understanding what Abraham has taught us, now you can look at any situation and at least understand that it is changeable and why it's happening in the way that it is. So that's the biggest thing for me. And I'm not afraid of dying anymore. I'm not afraid of death. I'm not afraid that I've done something inappropriate that's going to cause me to be punished. I'm not worried that I wasn't part of the right organization and I didn't learn the right rules, or didn't follow the rules that I learned. So I feel free.
I've learned also how to back out of any situation psychologically or mentally or however you want to put it fast, so nothing gets up ahead of steam that causes any problems in my life. Often in the past I would let things get too far and then it's too hard to deal with, whereas before, with what Abraham's teaching us about listening to our emotions, I can catch something, it just barely gets off the ground before I change my process of thought and start focusing on something differently, and which then stops that creation of what was beginning to develop. I can see a headache pull back. I can see a little physical thing change just really fast in my life. I can see a relationship issue that would have developed years ago that I just instantly, by just gently changing the thought, to change that whole thing around.
So we're sure and happier still and more prosperous and we feel freer. Yeah.
And I'm extremely fulfilled.
Yeah.
I
never will be.
My goal is to live to be 120 years old and really keep enjoying the work that I do. And that's why we're building our home right here, like 100 feet from here. And it's all on one level, so I don't have to run up and down stairs when I'm 120. But anyway, I really love what I do.
So Esther, describe the process you go through to bring Abraham forward.
I relax and quiet my mind, and by quieting my mind, I just focus on my breathing. I close my eyes and just release thought. It's sort of like putting your brain on pause, where you just don't think about anything, and that's always been easy for me to do. And after doing this all these years, it's really easy for me to do.
We'd like to ask Abraham to come and speak to us.
Okay. It just takes a few seconds. I won't move mine. It is nice to have an opportunity to visit.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I have some questions for you, and the first question I want to ask is, how can we believe this? How can we believe that one person can close their eyes and concentrate and suddenly there's someone else there? Help me with that.
Well, we would rather that you believed something even more than that, and that is that not just one person can do that, but all persons can and do. You are all extensions of source energy. And so you could never separate yourself from the stream of consciousness that is really you. It is just that many of you have formed such barricades or separation. You see yourself so separately. And when you release those barriers and allow who you really are to begin flowing, that's when your life really becomes fun. You cannot separate yourself from that which you really are. Esther cannot separate herself from that which is Abraham.
Who and what is Abraham?
Well, words are tricky because from your physical format, you are accustomed to seeing things from your physical point of view. But we are non-physical consciousness. We are source energy. We are vibration. We are thought. We are not so different from you. You are an extension of that which we are. Everything that is physical is an extension of that which is source, you see. And so we are just a purer form of the energy that is actually you, meaning we do not have thoughts of resistance that keep us from being that which is a vibrational match to Source, while in your physical form, sometimes you do.
Have you ever been human?
Well, the question has a misunderstanding at its basis that we want to clarify first, and that is to say that everything that is physical is an extension of that which is non-physical. Physical friends often look at life from their physical format and they think, well, it's either dead or alive, so it's either physical or non-physical, when in reality it is always non-physical, and sometimes that non-physical focus is focused into the physical. So the question, have you ever been physical, implies that we are not right now physical, while Esther and Jerry and you and so many others are the physical extension of that which we are. It's sort of like saying to your toaster, why don't you be the electrical current also? And the toaster says, I'm the toaster, the electrical current will be the electrical current. And we're wanting you to understand that source energy will always be source energy. But source energy expresses itself in physical form all around you.
Why the name Abraham?
The process that Esther uses to interpret for us is a process where she receives blocks of thought, sort of like downloading to a computer, if you will, like radio signals. And Esther receives the block of thought at an unconscious level and then finds, also at an unconscious level, the physical word equivalent. So even the label Abraham was a label that Esther fashioned at an unconscious level because it was the best descriptive word that explained easily in one label, like you want your names to be, that which we are. In other words, we are at the heart of every religion that exists. We've been around for a very long time, and so it was just the best name. It also puts us first in the phone book.
But is there a way, a proof, something that you could do or say that would prove this is all?
Well, we always encourage our physical friends who are sincere in their wanting to know to set forth an intent for something and hold their thoughts upon it and watch how the universe knocks itself out to accommodate them. If you are asking for proof of our existence, that's hard. Esther said, Abraham, there surely must be something. And we say, there is nothing that we could offer in the form of proof that someone would not find a way of discrediting in some way. And so we are not so interested that you believe in our existence as we are interested that you come to adore your own. It is not important to us that you understand who we are or that you identify us in any way that is particularly meaningful to you. But if we can say something that helps you to reconnect with who you really are, then the way your life flows and expresses will be all of the proof that you will ever need. The proof that we would like you to seek and find is the proof that you are a worthy being, that you're blessed, and that good things are supposed to come to you, and that you are an extension of source energy, and that source energy is always there and available to you and flowing through you. We want you to prove to yourself your rightness and your wellness and your blessedness.
And how do we go about doing that?
By recognizing that in this environment, when a desire for something is born within you, that you have guidance that lets you know in every moment whether or not in that moment you are in alignment with your own desire, by utilizing your emotional guidance system to bring you vibrationally back on track with your own desire.
When you say emotional guidance system, could you tell me a little bit more about what you mean there?
Well, before that will make sense to you, we want to say to you that you and everyone you know, in fact, everything you see, is vibrationally based, everything. And you, in your physical form, are vibration. Your physical senses are interpreters of vibration. What you see with your eyes is a vibrational interpretation. That's why you see. what you hear, even what you feel with your fingertips or taste with your tongue or smell with your nose. These are all translators of vibration. You have another sensor that you are well aware of. You talk about it all the time as physical humans, and that is your emotion. Your emotion is a very sophisticated sensor of vibration. So when you are in any moment giving your attention to something that is causing you to be in alignment with who you really are, in other words, a perfect extension of this source energy, allowing God force to flow through you purely and in non-resisted way. When you are doing that, your emotion lets you know that you are doing that, and that's the emotion that feels wonderful. That's what love is, or appreciation. But when you feel frustration or anger or despair, any of those stronger negative emotions, what that always means is your attention in this moment has you offering a vibration in this moment that is out of sync with who you really are. And so you've set some resistance up within yourself that is not allowing your pure connection. So that's what we mean when we say, if you are looking for proof, what we want you to prove to yourself is that you have easy, ready, constant, steady, always available access to source energy. It's always there for you. And with the tweaking, much less than it takes you to learn Quicken on your computer, you can bring yourself steadily and constantly into vibrational alignment with the source that is really you. And then you usually are not asking for proof. We know you are asking on behalf of those who would be wondering that. But when you are aligned with source, you don't need proof because you just know. Things turn out well for you. You thrive, you see. Thriving is natural to you. Not thriving is not natural.
You do these workshops and you're being asked hundreds of questions all the time. What are the predominant things people are asking you?
Well, it is interesting. Most people, and we like it this way, it is natural that it be this way, most people are asking personal questions about their own experience. It is interesting, in all of the gatherings that we've had since 9/11, it rarely comes up. People are wanting to know, how can they make their own life better? How can they attract more money? How can they find a perfect mate? How can they improve their bodily conditions? How can they find fulfilling work? Those are the primary things that most people are selfishly asking. And when we say selfishly asking, we mean that as an extreme compliment, because you can only see through the eyes of self. And when you ask, it is always given. But most people are asking for improvement in different areas of their life, and then holding themselves without realizing or meaning to do it in vibrational difference to what they are asking for. And then they try to use their action to make up the difference. And that's why so many people are frustrated. And it's also why they assign so much credit to so many outside forces that are fictional.
Do people that are asking these different personal questions feel that they've been helped after speaking with you?
Some do, some not. It depends upon if someone is asking. Here is the reason that we say that some do not. As you are living the contrast of your day-to-day experience, sometimes you're standing in a place you really don't want to be. And in the midst of that contrast is always born a powerful desire. Now, in the moment that that desire is born, even if you do not speak it, you radiate it vibrationally. Source energy hears that request and begins answering it immediately. But so many humans, standing in the place that they do not want to be, even though they've launched the rocket of desire, they continue to talk about where they are, which is not the place that they want to be, often justifying why they need the answer to their prayer or why they need the fulfillment of the request from someone, not realizing that in every moment that they are continuing to beat the drum of what is going wrong, they are holding themselves vibrationally apart from what it is that they are wanting. So, if they are patient and willing to listen, and willing to practice some of what we are offering, many of them discover that when they turn their attention to what they want and begin speaking of what they want and pretending that it is happening, or imagining that it is happening, or try to remember a time when something like it was happening, as they begin to achieve a vibrational essence with their desire, then the universe gives them the proof that they're seeking. The universe then yields to them what they're asking for. There are 3 steps, very simple steps, to creating anything that you want. The first step is you must ask, but it doesn't mean you have to ask with words. You just have to be in a situation where desire radiates from you, which is every waking moment of every point of consciousness. You're asking constantly. So step 1 is taken care of automatically by your exposure to your contrasting life experience. Step 2 is not your work. Step 2 is Source will answer what you're asking for. Circumstances and events go immediately into place. All kinds of things begin to move. Heaven and earth moves to yield to you what you're asking for. Every time, no exceptions. Step 3 is really what our work is about. Step 3 is where you must now find somehow, some way to be a vibrational match to your own desire. So someone says, I want more money. And we say, and what would it be like if you had more money? And they often say, well, it's so hard to be without money. And we say, but what would it feel like to have more money? And they say, well, it wouldn't feel like it feels with not enough money. It's hard for them. This is the hardest part of this. It's hard to, all of a sudden, stop offering a vibration that you've been practicing for a very long time. And so many people have been trying to justify the good that will come to them by pointing out what's wrong with where they are. And so we call our gatherings the art of allowing. And what it is really about is the art, and we call it an art because you have to practice it, the art of bringing yourself into vibrational alignment with who you really are, which feels really good, and what you want. And with time, many people are beginning to discover that just by looking at things a little differently, and most important, by wanting more than anything to feel good. When you say nothing is more important than that I feel good, then and only then are you willing to find a way of looking at things that holds you in a vibrational place that then allows what you are asking for in. If you could see an aerial view of your life experiences as we do, you would see all of those wonderful things that you've been asking for lined up right outside your door. And if you just open the door a little bit, they begin to flood in. So often people come to our gatherings and they are skeptical, but they are desirous. And as they open the door just a little bit with some of the techniques that we teach, things they've been asking for begin flowing in, and before long, they begin to know their own power. They begin to trust in their own ability to achieve anything that they want. They begin to feel that they can be or do or have anything. And most importantly, they return to the joyous beings that they really are. And they begin to notice that negative emotion is the anomaly, and that joy is what is most natural and most steadily their experience. What you are all feeling in all moments, the emotions that you feel, is always the barometer, if you will, the vibrational indicator between the desire that you hold and your current perspective. In other words, you could go to an underdeveloped country and see them living as they are, and your desire for their improved life experience would be much greater than their desire for their improved life experience, because you know the possibilities. So when you go there, your desire for them would shoot off the charts. And if you were to watch them as they are currently living, you might suffer greatly, because your desire for them would be vibrating in one place and your awareness of where they are is in another, and you would feel a strong vibrational discord about that, where the separation between what they're living and what they want to live is not so great for them. That's why there are joyful people who live in poverty, and there are unhappy people who live in prosperity.
Many people are starting to believe these things, that there are no accidents, that we create our own reality, that we are all one.
But when you say there are no accidents, what we would mean if we were discussing that is that everything comes in response to vibration. And so if you are offering a vibration, that manifestation that matches that vibration will be. And no one can do anything to you because no one can vibrate for you. Certainly you can be influenced to a perspective or a vibration, but ultimately you are the offer of your vibration, and you have control about your vibration. So when someone says there are no accidents, they would accurately be meaning that whatever happens to anyone is a vibrational match to the offering that they have, to the vibrational output, so to speak.
So someone who's blindsided in a car accident
has been offering a vibration that matches that essence. In other words, they may have been talking about things not going well for them. They may have been feeling powerless. They may have been responding to an employer who doesn't seem to understand them, or to a mate who doesn't understand them. They may have been critical of traffic. They may be unhappy with enforcement or police control. They may be unhappy with people who speed. There are any number of things that they may have been focusing upon, but something active in their vibration is at the heart of everything that happens to everyone.